The following is a presentation of the HAN Network, the leader for local news, sports, and entertainment in Fairfield and Westchester counties. With Darien and Manhasset having completed their game, we move on to game number 2 of the Battle of the Sound Boys lacrosse doubleheader here at Lancaster Field at Tiger Hollow on the campus of Ridgefield High School. And a good afternoon once again, everyone. I'm Rob Adams. Eric Gendron will join me for game number 2 as A.J. Simonowski slides aside to move over to the director's chair. And now the hometown Ridgefield Tigers will take on the Trojans of Garden City in this quote-unquote nightcap of this terrific doubleheader here in Ridgefield. Don't let Garden City's record fool you. They're 3-4 on the season and ranked number 13 in their class in New York. But again, always a good brand of lacrosse out on Long Island. And of course for the Tigers, they're number 5 in Connecticut. But again, coming off a victory against the Greenwich Cardinals, some great lacrosse in the FCAC and certainly here in the state of Connecticut as well. Great weather, of course, as we've had all day, and we're all set to get it going. The lineups, and we get it underway. Eric joins me in the booth right after this. It's going to be Ridgefield and Garden City coming up, the Battle of the Sound, game number 2. You're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network. The HAN Network travels all over Fairfield County in our HAN Cruiser, covering news, sports, and entertainment.
And when we do, we make sure that our HAN Network branded floor mats are with us to keep the dust and dirt outside.
These mats get filthy, and there's only one company that can get rid of that kind of dirt.
Triple S, with locations all over Fairfield County. We're just now pulling into their Stamford facility. Rob, let's go see if Steve and Wanda can clean these mats up.
Wanda, Steve, literally thousands of feet have walked across our mats in the last 5 months in wind, rain, mud, more.
Is there any way you could make these mats look like new again?
No problem.
That's what we do here. Come on in.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
Are you hoping winter is finally in our rearview mirror? Can't wait for the air and water temperatures to start rising? Well, if the answer is yes, you need to get over to Darien or Westport and stop by the Dock Shop, where it's always summer. Both shops are being stocked with lots of new merchandise, including fishing tackle, marine electronics, boating supplies, and more. But remember, the Dock Shop isn't your average tackle shop. At the Dock Shop, you'll also find the finest selection of nautical apparel, jewelry, home decor, and gifts in New England. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Online at dockshop.com.
And we welcome you inside the booth here in Ridgefield. Along with Eric Gendron, I'm Rob Adams. Glad to have you along. And as we said in the opening, game number 2 ready to go with Ridgefield and Garden City as the Darien Blue Wave knocked off Manhasset earlier today, 11-8. And Eric, for Ridgefield, they won over Garden City 8-7 last year and beat them 7-5 in 2014, so they're looking to keep things going here.
Yeah, good afternoon, Rob. Thanks for having me. No, this is a great rivalry between two teams, often in the top 100 in the nation as far as lacrosse programs go, and should be a very even match. They always seem to play a good game against each other, and hopefully, a little closer competitively. I know it was 11-8, the final score for our day game, so to speak. But that one was really all Darien that whole time. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. It was really never much of a game. At times we saw it get to a 2-goal game, and you thought maybe. But at 6-4, that's the closest we saw it get between Darien and Manhasset, and the Blue Wave kind of ran and hid in the second half.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for Manhasset's goalie, that game could have been a lot higher scoring for Darien.
Oh, without a doubt. Absolutely kept Manhasset in that game. So now we get a look at these two teams. Ridgefield decked out in the white with the orange outlined in black, and Garden City bringing in a little bit of the maroon here today, and a good look as well. They are the maroon and the white.
And we saw a fantastic performance from the Tigers just the other day with a convincing win over the Greenwich Cardinals. A huge night from Peter Dirth that evening, who scored 5 goals against the Cardinals.
That's exactly right. He played very well. So the final conversation's going on there. Christopher Clem runs in and meets his counterpart. And we will be getting underway.
And we will keep an eye on Clem throughout the game, who also had a very nice game against the Cardinals and came up with a big save right at the end to kind of stymie a last-second comeback by Greenwich.
And Sam Lucchese will occupy the net to our left. We were going through the pronunciations up here in the booth before the game, and it actually was Chase Levesque's dad who came up and talked to me about it. And he said, look, I'm used to our name being mispronounced all the time, so man after my own heart wants to get the pronunciations right, and we are underway. Believe it or not, I have had Adams mispronounced.
Wow.
How? I don't know. But it has happened. As have you. I've heard it done on your name as well.
Oh, well, my name is a nightmare for most people, so.
See, I don't see where Gendron's that tough, but
everybody wants to go with the hard G for whatever reason.
Yeah, and Gendron. I've heard that one also.
I'll take that over Gendron any day.
That's very true. Underway in game number 2.
And I'll apologize in advance to the audience. I got a bit of a cough today, so if you hear me drop out every now and then, that's why.
Well, you're right there on pot number 4.
All
Turn
right.
it down as you need. Little inside broadcasting note here. As we'll bring it over near side in game number 2, as we said, underway. Drew Fowler, the midfielder, a junior. Got warm up here in the booth. I had my jacket on now. I might take it off. Little fake by Bobby Philbin. He backs it out. Flips it over near side to Greg Gatto, the sophomore midfielder. Waiting is Peter Dirth. As we mentioned, Dirth with a great day. His dad nearby as well, and he starts off well here, 1-0.
Only need 103 for Peter Dirth to pick up right where he left off, where we last saw him, and boy, we could get used to that pretty quickly here today.
That was quick and easy, 1-0 right off the bat.
It will be interesting to see how the pace of this game compares to the previous one. These are 4 teams that are, in the general ballpark of each other, but not necessarily on the exact same level every year.
And we laugh calling it the Battle of the Sound. For Darien and Manhasset, that's truly a Battle of the Sound. Both those towns either on the water or right at the water, pretty close to it. These two, a little further in. Obviously, Ridgefield, if you don't know, much further in. You're a good 15 miles or so away from the Sound. And Garden City, more so mid-island as well. That's where the Roosevelt Field Mall is, for instance. Kind of where the Northern State and the Meadowbrook Parkways come together.
Yeah, we're closer to Candlewood Lake than we are to the Sound.
We
right
really
now.
are. No, we absolutely are.
Here in northwestern Ridgefield.
So first offensive possession. Working it back behind the cage, Sean Coughlin is on. It's spelled Coughlin, and you're inclined to think of the former Giants coach, but no, it is Coughlin in this case. Jamie Atkinson, a junior, wearing number 5 on as well. One of the captains. He takes it, fakes, brings it over near side. Back behind the cage now.
Nice aggressive defense so far for the Tigers. Really pressing forward.
Go back behind. Bring it to Finn Gibbons, number 7. Good feed down low. Oh, and he missed the open net, and jumping up and down, Sean Dillmeyer, the senior, knowing he missed it.
Tried to do just a little bit too much with it. went low and tried to kind of come back up high with that underhand scoop, but could have gone with the bounce.
And right out in front, the save made by Christopher Clem. So 1-0 and 9:20 to go in the opening frame. Handing it off, it comes over to the near side. Mark Gallioni. Outside the numbers. Setting it up with Drew Fowler. Now they'll go across to Skylar Blair, the senior attack. 30 yards out, waiting. Bobby Philbin. Philbin near side. Back to Gallione. Working in Blair. Excuse me, that's more Philbin.
Ooh.
And they score off a rocket to make it 2-0.
Philbin fakes high, goes low with the ground ball goal, and Ridgefield out to a quick 2-0 lead. And Fairfield County has been making statements here in these against Long Island in the Battle of the Sound.
So a 2-0 game and 8:51 to go in the first. Of course, as the temperatures have kind of bobbed up and down, we've all been much more susceptible to colds and allergies and whatever else is getting put into the atmosphere. So I know you're still chasing the back end of something.
Yep.
Josh Fisher still got something.
It's a lovely time of year.
Yeah. I feel like I'm constantly either getting ready for something or fighting it off, but any event.
As long as you got the voice, that's all that matters.
I guess so. Flipped along to Clem, and he'll turn it back the other way. Ridgefield goes from right to left. Nice feedback out to Will Carpenter, down outside the numbers. On the near side, Gallione. Back behind the cage. Beautiful conditions here on this Saturday afternoon, and that's what everybody has said to me since I walked into Tiger Hollow, what seems like, well, I feel like I've been here since yesterday.
Just a bit of a breeze.
Yeah, the breeze that's coming in here almost feels like a nice warmer breeze, and certainly has warmed up as the day has gone along. Back across the line. Here come the Trojans. And we promised we would say Tyler Wukta's name correctly. Number 33, the sophomore midfielder. It's spelled W-U-C-H-T-E. It is Wukta. And with the pronunciation of Wook in there, well, Eric Gendron's a Star Wars fan. That'll work.
I will refrain from the Wookiee impression for now.
You do it pretty well, though. I know hard to resist.
Why, thank you. If he scores a goal, I'll think about it.
Carpenter to Gallione. It's a 2-0 game and 7:19 to go in the first. Working down the near side, losing the handle on it, back behind. That's Blair. Skylar Blair for Ridgefield. As we come down to the 7-minute mark here in the first. Mike Suppy's still around on a camera. Tim Murphy here. Rocco Veluzzo as well. Josh Fisher, Marty Hersom, and A.J. Simonowski now directing. You'll likely hear from A.J. later on in the broadcast.
Always appreciative of the guys coming out and helping out on a weekend to run a camera.
Absolutely. Good feed down low. Gallione, the ground ball, but a nice save. Good job by Lucchese, the senior.
Lucchese putting his whole body in front of that one, and very lucky that this game is still 2-0.
Off to the far side. They'll feed down along the numbers. Back behind the cage in a 2-0 game. 6:09 to go in the first. Loose ball far side. Jamie Atkinson over there. J.P. Bazile. And they'll work it all the way back out. Tim Schmelzinger is on as well. Back to Dillmeyer. Schmelzinger, the senior. Vin Gibbons wearing number 7, the junior. 5:25 to go in the first. They're coached by Steve Fennell. Roy Colsey for Ridgefield. A lot of ball movement, but not trying to get too fancy. Very deliberate. Again, just playing catch. 61 degrees as we got this one going today. On this long possession for Garden City.
Ridgefield just not giving them any angles here. Great defense so far.
Back it goes. Here's a shot and the save by Clem. Off the shot by Gibbons and out of bounds to the near side.
Clem frustrated with himself there, giving that possession away after making such a great save. He just wasn't looking where he was throwing it.
The wind overall coming out of the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour. It will gust out of the north-northwest to 18.
Sounds like the last vestiges of winter will be gone after today, finally. Although we can't complain too much. This winter was cakewalk compared to last year.
Compared to last year, I completely agree. And Long Island not immune to some really rough weather. Off to the near side, scrumming for it, and turned back around. The Tigers from right to left. There's Chase Levesque, the senior.
Oh.
And missing the open net. Blair had a beautiful shot wide open, but couldn't get it home. So still 2-0 and 3:52 to go in the first.
Yeah, that was pretty much the definition of wide open for a lacrosse shot there, and Blair's going to be kicking himself for missing that one.
Gallione sends it far side, Greg Gatto. Back to Gallione near side. 2-0, 3:39 to go in the first. Far side, Alec Mullen, senior midfielder. There's Gatto. Now Dearth will back it all the way out. Dearth gets a pick set for him, fires, bounces around, and harmless. Lucchese was there, flagged down. Ridgefield staying with the possession. 3:05 to go in the first. Blair winding and turning, back it goes. Here's a shot and he scores. Mullen makes it a 3-0 game.
Well, and Hafner came in with a vicious cross check, and that gave Ridgefield kind of the free opportunity to take a shot on net. And obviously the penalty waved off with the goal being scored, and they're already out to a 3-0 advantage with just under 3 minutes to play here in the first.
So a terrific start for the Tigers.
So we got our first good look at Darien today, Rob. I mean, what do you think of them? I mean, are they in the conversation for top 5 in the country probably?
I think they have to be. I think after today you have to put them in that conversation. And right now, at least it depends. I mean, so many different power rankings out there. If you go by the Under Armour Inside Lacrosse Top 25, I found them online. They were listed at number 5 this week with Bullis, Maryland, McDonough of Maryland also at number 3, Victor, New York, number 2, and Hill Academy at number 1.
Of Ontario.
Yeah.
And considering how they pretty much handled Manhasset, I wouldn't be surprised if they jump up those rankings.
I agree. Buchanan at number 9. As well as I know I saw Brunswick at 22. But you ain't got the time to go to Cold Spring Harbor no more. Had to work that in today somehow, Billy Joel reference. They are number 12 in the country, Cold Spring Harbor.
Noticing here, Rob, that Ridgefield is really stacking the box with their defense, as opposed to when we come down the other end. Garden City's been kind of content to have 3 in the box and then kind of 2 up attacking, and that hasn't seemed to work for them so far. It
worked there.
A nice dink and dunk for Ridgefield.
So Skylar Blair gets his name in the book. And a timeout, much needed. And it comes here at 4-0 with 2:10 to go in the first. We'll take a break from Tiger Hollow. We'll come back with a couple of minutes remaining in the first quarter. Ridgefield up 4-0 on Garden City. You're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network.
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network Wishes in Flight campaign. Over 70% of wishes granted involve travel, and your unused airline miles can help make kids' dreams become a reality. Plus, once you donate your miles to Make-A-Wish, they will never expire. Donate your unused miles and help the HAN Network share the power of a wish.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com. I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
Rob Adams, Eric Gendron back here in Ridgefield, 4-0. 2:10 to go in the first quarter. This game number 2 of the Battle of the Sound. And the Battle of the Sound has been largely Fairfield County friendly for a bit.
Oh, absolutely. That was a much-needed timeout by the Trojans, and we'll see if they can get something going here. So far, Ridgefield's defense has been absolutely stifling, and a quick offense putting the Tigers out to a quick 4-0 lead.
So back out for the face-off, the Battle of 18s, Kieran Gunn and Harrison Levesque.
One could go so far as to even say that the Tigers have pounced on the Trojans.
Between you and me and the Staten Island Ferry, boy, that was okay. I like that one actually. I'm going to give you props for that one. Considering some of the puns I come up with, I thought that was pretty good. 2:01 to go, first quarter, 4-0. Ridgefield with the ball again. Garden City in need of something.
As you can see on the screen, the Garden City defenders, whoever has the ball, they have someone come up right up in front of their face. And Ridgefield has really been taking advantage of that when they, take some bodies out of the box and then they'll set something up right in front. And that has been the key so far, as opposed to on the other end, Ridgefield content to really just sit in the box and cram the middle right in front of Clem.
And a terrific play to get the ball away by Schmelzinger. So Garden City with that opportunity. Timmy Gormley, defender, sends it over to Atkinson. Of course, Gormley wearing 42, and everyone with a tip of the cap to Jackie Robinson last night in baseball. I still have this idea on the way that I would handle the 42 thing. I still think it would be kind of cool to see, not only in Major League Baseball, but so many sports could do this. You anoint one person on your team to wear 42 for that night. They are the spirit of Robinson. And I think it would call more attention to things. But nonetheless, they do it the way they do it. And, of course, it's Ken Griffey Jr. who started it. Half minute to go here in the first in a 4-0 game. But Robinson's impact on baseball, sports, and society not forgotten. April 15th, 1947. He was a first baseman that day. As it bounces away and goes to the far side, and we've got 12 seconds to go in the first quarter. Clem will take it back behind his own net. Not necessarily in a rush, but he does feed near side for Luke Gatos. Here's Chase Levesque with 1, and the quarter will come to an end. Ridgefield certainly put on a show here in the first. They're up 4-0 over Garden City after 1 quarter. Eric and I will come back right after this. 4-0 Ridgefield on top of Garden City. You're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network.
Alberto Londano Professional Painting, Wallpapering, and Carpentry has been serving Fairfield County for over 20 years. Based in Norwalk, Alberto takes pride in his work by offering you only the best quality service and products. Call Alberto today to get a free estimate and be one step closer to a new and exciting home makeover. 203-866-9635.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Chop off your knives to be sharpened. Grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
By the way, there's going to be college lacrosse here at the
Second time you've done that.
I know that is the second time. It's been a long week. Merrimack and Dowling will play each other here on April 28th at 7 o'clock. See, I said that because I'm trying to read it backwards. It's taped up here.
And Merrimack, also a very good hockey school.
So Merrimack and Dowling, two, as you said, very good programs. Lacrosse, April 28th, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, some great Division II action here, right here at Tiger Hollow. Come on and support it. Only $5 for adults, $3 for students, and kids 8th grade and under are free.
That is correct. One baseball score, New Fairfield beat Norwalk 11-6 today. Boy, the Norwalk Bears are a tough team to figure out.
They often are. They, very promising in the few years that I've been around covering them. I've been covering Fairfield County sports since 2009 and or 2010, excuse me. And
you could say 09 if you want.
Well, let's not cheat the audience here. And since 2010, and always seem to be a promising team, and have tended to start a little slow. They do take a little while to figure things out usually, but we'll see. A lot of baseball talent in Norwalk, that's for sure. As a city, they're between Norwalk and Brian McMahon.
I think you were in like 5th grade when I started covering Fairfield County sports, and that's not far off.
Yeah, you mentioned Mayapack class of 87.
Yeah.
That was the year I was born.
That's what I thought you were going to tell me. 11:57 to go. First half. 4-0. Levesque lost it, picks it right back up. Flips it right to Gatto. Gatto gets it back from Blair. Here's Levesque. He goes left. Here's a blast out in front and deflected away by Lucchese. Turned back the other way by the maroon and white. It's a very crisp look by Garden City. And the font on the uniform, the numbers are a little different. The feed was down to Wookta. He lost the handle on it. Now, there is a whistle on this field. There is another game down to our right. The JV game is to our right. Our good friend and Ridgefield junior varsity coach Travis Tiger down there. He wanted us to cover that game too.
We just had a flag thrown on the field.
We did. What I'm going to gather is something procedural.
Wookta with his arms up wondering, what'd I do?
Yeah. The officials in game number 2, by the way, Steve Sternberg is the field judge, Lou Sochi is the umpire, and Chris Daly is your referee. 4-0 game right now, and 11:19 to go before intermission.
Taking a little while to sort things out here, all the bookkeeping.
It's a lot to think about. Well, they have whistled things go back to play, and away we go. Garden City in need of something right now, as Bazile playing keep away from Austin Pavone. Atkinson waits to his right. The fake to him, gets down low, and the bouncer and scores. So there's something to get it going. It's a 4-1 game.
Bazile with a great move there, completely faked out his Ridgefield defender. Looked like he was going to pass. Instead, held on to the ball, turned around, and bounces one in, and that was a huge, much-needed goal for the Trojans. Cut this lead to 3.
So now 4-1. And the 18s come back out for the face-off. That makes it easy.
And one programming thing to note for our audience out there that has plagued me many times here at Tiger Hollow. The stadium clock in Tiger Hollow just does not want to sync with our game clock on our programming. For whatever reason, it's just a little fast compared to ours. So if you see some adjustments on there, that's what's going on.
And I will tell you in full honesty, while I do have a monitor, I keep my eye on the game clock in-house versus what Eric and AJ put up on the screen. So if you wonder why, that's what it's all about. Just in case it's ever off. 10 yards out. Here's Gatto. Gatto with that little hop step, flips it left, it gets away. Trying to chase it down is Gallione. Now they'll scrum for it near the sideline. And Ridgefield comes away. Nice work by Gallione to scoop it up. Blair. Blair guarded by Puccio. That's Phil Puccio, a junior, for the Trojans. Garden City trying to cut this lead down, but they've got to stop Ridgefield right now as Dearth goes behind the cage. We've told you many times before when we've done games here, but in case you don't know, you're basically a long toss away from New York to our left. Low shot on net gets turned around by Lucchese.
Great save by Lucchese there. But meanwhile, I believe it was Gormley, I think, or was it Gormley or Hefner that got absolutely drilled?
Yeah, I saw that too. Puccio now will step back. They'll go far and now behind the cage. Finn Gibbons. Gibbons out for Atkinson. Atkinson backpedaling. Sends to his right, Schmelzinger. Settling things down, Bazile. Here's Atkinson again. 8:29 to go first half, 4-1. Ridgefield leading Garden City. Schmelzinger 25 yards out. Oh, almost turned over, possibly turned over. And indeed turned over. Levesque turns it around for the Tigers. And in transition, down comes Will Carpenter. Carpenter got it to Gallione. Sends it all the way back.
That was a great interception at the other end by Levesque. I mean, that's why you got the long pole.
Yeah.
Just reaches out and snatches it out of the air. Could use a snack.
I resisted the urge on the concession stand, as nice as they are down there. Sent wide. I had it for lunch. Here's Blair. Skylar Blair for Ridgefield. Far side, sends it back out. Peter Dirth settles things down. Brings it over to Alec Mullen. Mullen to Teddy Lynch. Drew Fowler behind the cage. 7:09 to go first half, 4-1. 20 yards out, Dirth. He was getting checked by Schmelzinger. Sends it a little further down. Billy Bice, a junior, wearing 19. He's in there. Now Blair to Gallione, who puts it on net and scores. So Ridgefield answers. It's 5-1.
Ridgefield been very effective with the low shots, the ground ball shots, faking high, going low, and Garden City has had no answer for that move. But been loving Ridgefield's aggression in pretty much every facet of the game, whether it's the offense, the defense, going after ground balls. They've been really bringing their A game so far against their rivals from Long Island.
I saw that the indoor lacrosse team that's starting in Connecticut has a table downstairs here at Tiger Hollow today. Trying to do a little ticket sales.
Never too much lacrosse in Fairfield County.
Or in Connecticut, for that matter.
That's
They're
true.
going to play, I believe, at Mohegan Sun, as I
really?
recall.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, in the arena. And a timeout. They had tried to bring some professional lacrosse to Connecticut. It hadn't quite worked, so we'll see if this one does work. Here we have 6:34 to go in the first half. Ridgefield, a 5-1 lead. A timeout will do the same. You're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network.
The HAN Network is the leader in local broadcasting in Fairfield and Westchester counties. We reach tens of thousands of viewers via our live news, sports, and entertainment broadcasting. We can create your advertisement and broadcast it through our programming to one of the most affluent markets in the United States. And remember, our broadcasting is live, which means viewers cannot skip or click past your marketing message. And we measure our audience and their demographics on every broadcast. To advertise on the HAN Network, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network Wishes in Flight campaign. Over 70% of wishes granted involve travel, and your unused airline miles can help make kids' dreams become a reality. Plus, once you donate your miles to Make-A-Wish, they will never expire. Donate your unused miles and help the HAN Network share the power of a wish.
Glancing out the window at the crowd here in Ridgefield, it's funny how the side closer to the sun, to our left, granted more in front of the Garden City bench, but that side emptier. The rest of the bleachers fairly occupied and a nice crowd on hand here.
No, very nice crowd. Good to see everybody coming out and supporting this and doing some fundraisers for Sticks for Soldiers downstairs, and a lot of good stuff happening today. This is a really fun event that happens for these four schools every year, and Darien and Manhasset, great rivalry, as you were talking about in the previous game, Rob, going back about 20 years now.
Yeah.
And hard to believe 1996 was 20 years ago, but
Yeah.
and then these two teams face off quite often as well, and good to see some interstate action.
In fact, 1996 was my first foray into Fairfield County sports because I was kind of an on-air DJ, believe it or not, and a board operator at old WREF, which was right here in Ridgefield, and one of the first things I did was board op Ridgefield Tiger, a couple of Ridgefield Tiger football games before Tiger Hollow got refurbished. So going back that far and feeling older every day. Here's Blair. Blair lost the handle on it, got knocked away, and back it goes. So they'll scrum for it and turn it around and send it toward Garden City. They've got some work to do, 5-1.
Speaking of refurbishing fields, we were on our FCAC tour and saw the first stages of the renovations at Trinity Catholic High School for their new football field. I'm very excited to see what they end up doing there for the Crusaders, who have been on an upswing lately in the last couple of years for football, which is nice to see.
Have done a terrific job under Donnie Panipata, but Donnie also bringing over some heavyweights from FCAC coaching royalty with former Greenwich coach Rich Albanese on his staff. But, you know, of course, the thing we think of as it gets turned back the other way, and here come the Tigers with Drew Mullen looking for more, up 5-1, and blasted away.
Blair getting a little cute there, trying to do the behind the back. Getting a little greedy at this point. It seems like they can do no wrong.
The thing we always look for is certainly sight lines for us, but most importantly, can you get us on your Ethernet? That's what it comes down to. So for Trinity Catholic, we hope we can find the connection and be able to do a football game there in the fall, as they are just totally rebuilding not only the football field, but the baseball field isn't available right now also, which is why they're playing at the tremendous Cubetta Stadium, which I can't really complain about.
Exactly. Yeah, not going to complain about that.
I would do every game, almost every game there if I could. That was so fun. Biggest downfall there, of course, is the weather. When there is a physically working press box on site, but it was nice to be sitting outside. That was last Monday. On the near side, Garden City went from Atkinson now to Kyle Steinbach. And it is back, not Bach. To the near side, Bazile. Losing the handle, Atkinson. He chases. They fight for it. And it's a push, and it turns around. Crowd doesn't like it, but
this quarter a little more fast-paced as far as how fast the clock is going anyways, and we're already below under 4 minutes to play.
Sent back around to Bazile. He has the lone goal right now for Garden City, as the Trojans try to get this closer, but turned over, and Luke Gatos takes it away.
Yeah, that's not going to help them.
Here's Will Carpenter with a head of steam. Goes left. Bouncer and score.
Carpenter absolutely untouched with a breakaway to the net.
So Gallioni gets his second.
Great pass to Gallioni to put it home. That was just too easy for the Tigers.
So it's now a 5-goal game at 6-1. I wonder if some had taken Ridgefield a touch too lightly.
Starting to wonder that myself.
They have played very well in this game. And as we said back in the opening, you don't underestimate the fact that Garden City is 3-5. Okay, that's all well and good. But that being said, you got to look at the level of competition, 3-4 to be exact, excuse me. But still, you know, look at some of the teams they've already played. And level of competition is a factor for sure. Well, Ridgefield did a solid job against the Greenwich Cardinals, as we saw earlier this week. Now Skylar Blair on the near side, outside those football numbers. Sends it back to Drew Fowler. And they'll play catch far side. 2:45 to go before intermission as Gallioni goes behind the cage. Here's Blair. Now Levesque. We said earlier in the first game that Mark Ivanchik is a long stick who's not afraid to get in the offensive zone, and Levesque is another one. And Levesque standing just inside those football numbers near the 25. Levesque grabs it just off the turf. Now Bobby Philbin. Philbin fakes. Sends it toward Fowler. All the way around they go. Working in is Teddy Lynch. Lynch tangled with Dillmeyer. 1:55 to go, first half. And a rocket that goes over everyone.
And that is kind of the disadvantage there of having a long stick in the offensive zone. He just, couldn't get quite the quick whip on that like you can with a short stick, and that shot sails high.
Timeout taken with 1:49 to go in the first half. It's a 6-1 Ridgefield lead. They're on top of Garden City. We'll take a break and come back right after this to Tiger Hollow. You're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or go to coastalorthoexpress.com. That's coastalorthoexpress.com. Like them on Facebook.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Welcome back. 6-1 the score, 1:49 to go, first half.
Ridgefield will come out of this timeout with possession in the Garden City zone and looking to make this a 6-goal game already.
On the near side to Drew Fowler. Backed out to Alec Mullen. Will work the ball all the way around. Mark Gallioni. Near side Fowler. Back to Mullen. Now Levesque. Levesque started 5 yards in and moves 5 yards back and takes the ball. Tyler Wukta on him. Here is Levesque. A little flip and right on net, and the save made by Lucchese.
A little surprised that Ridgefield wasn't willing to burn a little more time there. Now a good minute. Oh.
And almost a bad turnover, and indeed going to turn into a turnover as Gallioni takes it.
Well, never mind then.
Well then, that worked out, at least for a moment. We're under 1 to go, first half. You see a note from McMahon Baseball that, as far as I know, has at least 2 Twitter feeds. They're using McMahon Baseball a little more consistently now, but they had actually created one the morning we were in Norwalk. They almost created it exactly for us. I believe it's like M-Base 2K16 or something like that,
yes,
as I recall.
Yep.
Great kids, nice bunch. But in any event, I see the note here that UConn won in college baseball today. I'll tell you why that's important in a moment as that gets sent wide. Randy Polonia got a 2-inning save, and of course the former Trinity Catholic product.
And Brian Daniello, Brian McMahon graduate with 2 hits.
Another timeout taken, this with 11.9 to go in the first half of a 6-1 game. Really kind of burning the timeouts here.
Yeah, kind of interesting. I think I guess they want to draw up one last play here before we reach halftime, and Ridgefield really wants to try to get that 7th goal before we reach the break. But to quote the McMahon Baseball Twitter feed, go FCAC there with Polonia and Daniello, both FCAC alum, helping out the UConn team.
In fact, the last we saw it in the 8th inning, it was 4-1 UConn on top of Houston. I don't know what the final score was. And Staples Lacrosse beat Kellenberg Memorial earlier today in Lacrosse, 10-2. Video from the students online from SHS Sports. It's actually SH Sports to be exact. They do a really fine job. There are some brilliant young broadcasters that come out of that high school.
Always impressed by that program. Old friend DJ Sixsmith is making a name for himself.
And he sure is. They went through a stretch where not only DJ but Eric Galante, and they were a duo, and now they're both going to wind up pros in this business without a doubt. You know, many will advance from Staples on to some other things, and there are some here at Ridgefield High School as well, and Stanford's gotten involved. I mean, there are schools that are interested, but Staples is a little bit head and shoulders above. And DJ and Eric just, they're going to go very far.
Yep, first FCAC baseball championship I ever covered was 2010, and when Staples came away victorious, Rob Gow with a complete game victory. Their opponent is slipping my mind at the moment, but that duo that you just said called that game, and I remember being incredibly impressed, having just got out of college myself.
Well, there are so many who try, and they just seem to get it very early on. Here's Levesque. Gallioni, and he scores as he fell down.
Hey, I guess that timeout worked. They really wanted that 7th goal, and Gallioni gets it. He has been on fire here in the latter half of this second quarter.
And right now, this is just all Ridgefield. 7-1 the score, with really a face-off remaining between this and halftime. So likely the final face-off of the first half with 4.8 remaining. There it is. We're down to 3 and 2. There's 1, and that's that. And a little pushing and shoving, but just playing, that's all. Nothing more to it right here at the horn. Nothing to get excited about. Ridgefield can actually go off into their locker room straight down below. Garden City's going to head off to the end zone down to our left and see if they can pull themselves together. They find themselves down 6 at the break.
Just absolute domination that half by Ridgefield. Gallioni with a really big half. And Peter Dirth picking up where he left off. And, you know, the few attacks that Garden City has had, Christopher Clem has come up with an answer most of the time, and just, like I said, absolute domination by the Tigers for the first half in the Battle of the Sound.
Impressive by the Ridgefield Tigers, just as the Darien Blue Wave were in the first game earlier today when they knocked off Manhasset. Halftime here in game number 2, and the Ridgefield Tigers lead the Garden City Trojans 7-1. We're back in a bit. You're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network. It was a great game, but it got messy at the end. With sports, I'm Rob Adams. Kate, back to you.
Thanks, Rob. Well, speaking of messy, here's a story about how Triple S cleaned up a big problem for the HAN network. Eric, let's roll that footage.
The HAN network travels all over Fairfield County in our HAN Cruiser, covering news, sports, and entertainment.
And when we do, we make sure that our HAN network branded floor mats are with us to keep the dust and dirt outside.
These mats get filthy, and there's only one company that can get rid of that kind of dirt.
Triple S, with locations all over Fairfield County. We're just now pulling into their Stanford facility. Rob, let's go see if Steve and Wanda can clean these mats up.
Wanda, Steve, literally thousands of feet have walked across our mats in the last 5 months in wind, rain, mud, more.
Is there any way you could make these mats look like new again?
No problem. That's what we do here. Come on in.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning. Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
Are you hoping winter is finally in our rearview mirror? Can't wait for the air and water temperatures to start rising? Well, if the answer is yes, you need to get over to Darien or Westport and stop by the Dock Shop, where it's always summer. Both shops are being stocked with lots of new merchandise, including fishing tackle, marine electronics, boating supplies, and more. But remember, the Dock Shop isn't your average tackle shop. At the Dock Shop, you'll also find the finest selection of nautical apparel, jewelry, home decor, and gifts in New England. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Online at dockshop.com.
At the Sylvan Learning Center of Darien, experienced teachers and personalized academic support equals superior results. Our certified teachers uncover skill gaps, address specific needs, and help students realize greater academic success and increased confidence. We're enrolling now. Individualized after-school tutoring in reading, math, history, elementary math, algebra, geometry, calculus, high school science, and study skills. For a free consultation, call 203-655-3276 or email gmcsylvan@gmail.com.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or go to coastalorthoexpress.com. That's coastalorthoexpress.com. Like them on Facebook.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances, where community comes first, a place where there's more than one kind of interest, where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
Until April 30th, choose $150 cash for a Smeg toaster when you open a My Bank Well Choice checking account with a minimum of $2,000.
For over 25 years, Mike Cizik Painting and Wallpapering has been the name to know for residential and commercial properties in Fairfield County. He uses only the top brands, including Benjamin Moore, for impeccable preparation and lasting quality. Call Mike now and receive $500 off any job over $7,000. Mike is currently accepting reservations for spring, so call him today at 203-770-8869 or 203-972-3310. For your custom painting, finishing, and staining needs, it's Mike Cizik.
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network Wishes in Flight campaign. Over 70% of wishes granted involve travel, and your unused airline miles can help make kids' dreams become a reality. Plus, once you donate your miles to Make-A-Wish, they will never expire. Donate your unused miles and help the HAN Network share the power of a wish.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday, right here on the HAN Network.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back in Ridgefield, Eric Gendron had to say goodbye for the afternoon. AJ Simonowski will hang out with me for the second half. I'm Rob Adams. 7-1 the score with the Ridgefield Tigers in control. Just to recap the scoring, Peter Dirth got things going 1:03 into the game. It was 1-0. Bobby Philbin then at 8:51 to go in the first quarter made it 2-0. Alec Mullen 3-0. Skylar Blair 4-0. JP Bazile made it 4-1 as Garden City finally got on the scoreboard in the second, and it's been the Mark Gallioni show ever since. Scoring with 6:42, 3:27, and 4.8 to go in the first half. 7-1 Ridgefield dominating as we get ready for the second half. I did not see these games being, well, I don't want to go so far as to say uncompetitive, but certainly dominant. I did not expect to see any team dominate in this game, and Fairfield County has had the better of it by far.
Definitely, Rob. I had the same thoughts similar in the earlier game between Manhasset and Darien. I had personally expected a bit more of an offensive showing with a much higher score, but we got a relatively defensive struggle. And though this game, not exactly high scoring in the first half either, 7-1 Ridgefield. Can't say I saw that coming.
No, for Garden City, they opened up against Syosset, a top 5 team, and they lost 6-3 in that one. Then they took on Smithtown West, and they lost 8-6 to them. Then Massapequa, the number 4 team, they lost 10-8 to them before finally getting a couple of wins in a row. St. Paul's, they beat them 7-6. Then they played Bellevue, Washington, and they beat them 5-4. An out-of-state matchup against Bridgewater Raritan came along next, and they lost to them 9-6 before a 17-3 win over Cary, who is 0-7 on the year. Now they're here at Ridgefield before taking on MacArthur Levittown on the 20th, Belmore JFK on the 27th. They will meet Manhasset on April 30th before playing Long Beach, Mepham, New Hyde Park, and Calhoun to round out the season.
And that game against Manhasset for Garden City would be an interesting one. I'd actually like to see how those two teams match up. With the Indians falling earlier today, now the Trojans, we still got a whole half of lacrosse to play, people.
Sure.
Let's not bury them just yet.
No.
But we got to see how they respond.
Now, of course, the Tigers much earlier into their season, they opened up with a 3-touchdown, 21-0 win over Stamford on April 7th. And beat Greenwich on April 12th in front of our cameras right here on the HAN Network. Garden City today, but Trinity Catholic in 3 days. And then an interesting matchup with the Yorktown Cornhuskers, the Huskers out of Yorktown High School, on the 21st. Then Medfield out of Massachusetts before Danbury, and an interesting showdown on April 27th with the Brunswick Bruins. Another national power. Then Staples, West Hill, Wilton, Darien on May 7th, Trumbull, Brian McMahon, Norwalk, then St. Joe's Trumbull, and New Canaan to round out the season. Couple of interesting matchups in there, AJ.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Rob.
Second half underway. And, of course, we tweeted something a little earlier. The Battle of Ridgefield was 239 years ago, almost to the date. That turned out pretty well. Here, the Battle of the Sound continues. The Battle of Ridgefield saw troops from places like Peekskill and Dutchess County, as well as Danbury, converging here on Ridgefield as it's turned back around by Lucchese. So if history is your thing, and Revolutionary War history, in fact, like I said, we cover it all. Taken back to the near side by Finn Gibbons.
Should give these notes to Don Eng for his history report on Monday.
Truly, and I do sports on Coffee Break, which airs Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning. But Don's history is my favorite part. With all due respect to any other element of that show, I'm a history nut. Dancing in. Here comes Atkinson. Sent across and sent over the top of the net. 10:15 to go, third quarter, 7-1. I can't say it's the best habit in the world, AJ, but I've become guilty of watching a movie or a TV show with, say, either IMDb or Wikipedia in front of me.
Oh, see, I make it a point to wait until the end of the movie before I go to IMDb.
And I know Wikipedia is not the greatest source in the world. I understand that, but it's a good starting point. Taken back behind the cage by Luke Keating, Jr. Back out it goes for Gibbons. Gibbons working in against the opposite 7, Greg Gatto. To the near side is Kyle Steinbach. Climbing on top of it just to tip it away, and it got to Clem, and it gets turned around. 9:30 to go, third quarter, a 7-1 game. Gallioni with 3 for the Tigers. Here's Gatto. He throws it. It comes over to the near side. Skylar Blair will give chase. So please join us for Coffee Break. And virtually every time we have a game broadcast, we get a nifty little highlight package put together by either Eric or AJ, and we run it during Coffee Break. So it's your chance to kind of relive some of the highlights. We can't often give them all to you, but at least a little hand-picked package.
And Rob, don't forget, Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday.
If you can handle more of my voice, then you can have Nutmeg Sports. We do get some terrific guests. Baseball historian John Thorne was on with us this week. We don't often do many of the national known variety, but occasionally. I mean, we had some guy named, what was his name? Mariano Rivera on once?
I think that's the correct pronunciation.
Yes. I believe we also called him Sandman.
I was just happy to shake his hand that day.
That was a fun day. That was a special day. I have the most cherished memory of my son meeting him. It's truly wonderful. Blasted on net, and in goes Gatto to make it 8-1. A good low shot. And the bouncer gets past Lucchese, and it's an 8-1 game.
A low shot working again for the Tigers. Garden City's got to come up with an answer.
And fast. They need to get on a run and very quickly. I can still remember my son shaking his hand, walking away from Mariano and saying to me, "I will never wash it again." Truly a cherished memory. Bernie Williams has also been on Nutmeg. So just some of the national guests. But locally, heck, so many of these Ridgefield students right here, among others.
Has the FCAC guru Sean Saylor been on as a guest?
He has not.
We got to fix that.
We got to fix that. He needs to do an in-studio show with us. Al Carbone, the commissioner of the SCC, has been on with us. Haven't done it in a while, but Tom Yance of the Hartford Courant. Just to give you an idea of some of the roster of people who have joined us at one time or another. Here we have 7:39 to go in the third quarter, and you don't want to say a game is out of hand, but goodness, 8-1, and we're hitting the midpoint of the third quarter. It's getting late.
If it's not out of hand yet, we're getting close.
Dillmeyer Out to Atkinson. And that's not to say there's a rooting interest. I'm all for Garden City making this a game. It's more fun to have the drama. Gibbons, near side Atkinson. Back to Gibbons. So much will get talked about with a broadcaster rooting. In fact, I'm following some garbage on social media right now talking about Doc Emmerich, who's my favorite hockey broadcaster and probably my second favorite sports broadcaster, blasted right on net and knocked away by Clem.
Doc is very, very good.
And very fair, but there are friends of mine who will not get off the idea that Doc is rooting for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Folks, we don't root. We don't have to. We're not interested in it. So to answer the point of what I root for competitive games. I root for drama where my heart is racing in the final seconds or innings of a game. Sent all the way around. I root for those days, AJ, where we finish a broadcast and I'm looking at you or somebody else and I'm just going, wow.
That's how you know it was a good day.
Oof. We think of the Robbie Jones walk-off against Greenwich, New Canaan Greenwich last year in baseball. The back-to-back FCAC championships, especially the overtime game in football where we were just gnawing at our fingernails. The JT Morin 8-inning phenomenon of last year at Harbor Yard. On net and thrown aside by Lucchese.
I like to tell people without irony that FCAC championship last spring at Harbor Yard is one of the best baseball games I have ever seen.
Bouncing along the near side. 8-1, 5:13 to go third quarter. Moving in comes Coughlin. Tipped around. Scrumming for it. It's just all going the Tigers' way. They continue to work for it. Tigers had it. Bodies colliding. And they fight for it again, moving down to our right. Who can come away with it? Ridgefield. So good work by the Tigers to turn it around, and Teddy Lynch was the one who had it. Lynch works it ahead. 4:40 to go here, third quarter. It's like the notion that Joe Buck doesn't hate your team. He doesn't care.
Well, there's a whole host of reasons why I don't like Joe Buck.
I knew that was coming. Near side Calione. If you draw your paycheck from a team, that's kind of a different story, and it's a whole different conversation for another time. It's certainly a Nutmeg sports topic for sure. Here's Atkinson. Beg your pardon, Peter Dirth, I beg your pardon, number 5. Atkinson working in, or rather, Dirth working in against Brian Hefner.
Nutmeg Sports, 2 p.m. Monday through Wednesday on the HAN Network.
Thanks for that reminder. Well done by you. 3:45 to go third quarter. 1 goal so far in this quarter. Sent off to the right. Backed out. Now 3:20 to go in the third. Behind the net, Blair. Skylar Blair gets a pick set for him. Fighting hard to get in, went to just kind of throw it. Now Dirth grabs it 15 yards out. Lost the handle. They scrum, the whistle, and it'll go the other way. Coming over to the near side, Coughlin. Coughlin will play catch with Keating behind the net. 2:40 to go in the third. That looked like Coughlin, who bounces it aside. It was. He's a junior. we start turning toward the back end of April, we look at all these trees with no leaves on them yet. Things are going to explode very soon. Here's Coughlin. Coughlin went to thread the needle off to Steinbach, but Gibbons comes away with it. 2:10 to go in the third quarter. The loose ball goes behind the cage. They'll work it around from Keating up top to Gibbons. Gibbons bounces it wide. So it'll stay with Garden City as we're down to 1:55 to go in the third. Thrown back out, 15 yards out. Now they'll go further out. Steinbach, in the maroon and white. Near side. Play it back behind the cage with Keating. 1:35 to go third quarter. Lost the handle on it. Comes over to the near side. Can he save it? He does. As Gibbons picks it up. A lot of work to do in an 8-1 game. Garden City down 7. Fake on the pass.
And yet, Rob, despite the hole that the Trojans are in, they don't seem to be pressing.
Big shove from behind, but no harm. Now the flag flies. Wave the shot off, they're saying, and stop it right there. Wave the play, it's dead. Stop things right there with 57 to go in the third quarter.
Garden City still taking a more methodical approach than one would think, down 7 with basically 13 minutes left to play. You got to turn it on at some point, don't they?
I would agree. One thing to keep in mind with both these games from today, now certainly the teams want the wins for their overall records. They do not affect their conference record. They're out of conference games, of course. Kept alive by the maroon and white. We'll send it back out. Shot coming, bounces away. That was Atkinson, the junior midfielder. Our friend Carl Charles, the athletic director here at Ridgefield, is right down below us in his last year. I knew him initially as a basketball coach, not even as the AD, but what a magnificent job he has done here and how good he has been to us, including laminating rosters for us, which did get AJ and I both very emotional.
Only a little bit.
Atkinson, near side. Gibbons. Work to the far side. Down to 5. Bouncing around in front of Clem with 1. Bounces loose, and the horn sounds, and the third comes to an end. Just 1 goal in the quarter, and we're through 3. Ridgefield 8. Garden City 1. Stick around. The fourth quarter is coming up right after this as you're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network.
For over 25 years, Mike Cizik Painting and Wallpapering has been the name to know for residential and commercial properties in Fairfield County. He uses only the top brands, including Benjamin Moore, for impeccable preparation and lasting quality. Call Mike now and receive $500 off any job over $7,000. Mike is currently accepting reservations for spring, so call him today at 203-770-8869 or 203-972-3310. For your custom painting, finishing, and staining needs, it's Mike Cizik.
Are you hoping winter is finally in our rearview mirror? Can't wait for the air and water temperatures to start rising? Well, if the answer is yes, you need to get over to Darien or Westport and stop by the Dock Shop, where it's always summer. Both shops are being stocked with lots of new merchandise, including fishing tackle, marine electronics, boating supplies, and more. But remember, the Dock Shop isn't your average tackle shop. At the Dock Shop, you'll also find the finest selection of nautical apparel, jewelry, home decor, and gifts in New England. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Online at dockshop.com.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We start the fourth quarter. Rob Adams, A.J. Simonowski, Eric Gendron had to step out. Josh Fisher up here. Rocco Veluzzo running a camera up here. We see Tim Murphy and Mike Suppy as well as Marty Hersom all on the crew here today at Tiger Hollow. The field named after Stephen M. Lancaster. If you ever get a chance to come here, there is a nice display in honor of him. I have read it several times down below in the lobby of this wonderful facility. We're in Ridgefield, Connecticut to start the fourth quarter, and the Ridgefield Tigers leading this second game of the Battle of the Sound 8-1 on top of the Garden City Trojans.
It really is a marvelous little memorial to Stephen Lancaster's life, and often you find these fields at schools named after people, and after a generation or two, nobody at the school remembers who they're for.
And I always think that's sad.
And I like that it's named for someone who had something to do with Ridgefield and the sports played here, not just whoever shelled out the cash.
And part of the display for Mr. Lancaster, who passed away over 40 years ago, one of his classmates was Chip Salvestrini, who is now the athletic director at Danbury.
Who has also been very good to us when we've gone there.
He's been very good to us. We deal consistently with 17 athletic directors, and all 17 have been just really good to us. Some, to be fair, above and beyond. Down low and sent wide by Atkinson, close to the crease for sure.
And a missed opportunity there for Garden City. Clem was on the ground trying to make that save. Atkinson with the wide open net, just not able to put a good shot on it.
So I will say, just like the person who's taking over for Dave Schultz over at Fairfield Ludlow, whoever's replacing Carl Charles, we look forward to working with you, but big shoes. Dave, of course, will begin running the FCAC in just a few months.
I thought that was Sean Saylor's job.
He'll be the assistant as the venerable Mr. John Kutzo will finally waltz off into retirement.
And good luck, Mr. Kutzo.
He's a very good man as well. Near side played by Gatto. Goes behind the cage. We're down to 9:55 to go and an 8-1 Ridgefield lead. Spinning around goes Drew Fowler. Gallioni on the far side. Skylar Blair has one today, as he stands 2 yards deep in the end zone, trying to work his way around Phil Puccio. Gets down low, got the ball knocked away from him. Now a flag will fly. Collision with Blair.
Skylar Blair takes more contact than I think just about anyone else on the Tigers. He fights for every foot of position.
Push.
A little over 9 minutes left to go, Rob. And at what point, if you're Garden City, do you stop and say, we need to get moving here?
I would think there's no time like the present with 8:57 to go and an 8-1 score. Levesque standing right on the 20-yard marker. I mean, you talk about freeze the ball. Now he brings it. That was the closest to a four corners offense I've ever seen in lacrosse. Backed out. Here is Levesque. The blast goes wide. 8:15 remaining.
Was 8:55. I freely admit nothing was happening. I thought the clock had not started.
No, it had started. And to be fair, AJ does not have a view of the game clock. Here's Levesque. And he scores top shelf. Chase Levesque gets on the scoreboard. He's in the ledger now. It's a 9-1 game.
Guessing Chase just got bored of holding the ball and thought, well, I'll take a shot. What the heck?
I'm not sure that was the play that Roy Colsey called, but it works nonetheless. Another face-off. Levesque came up to play it, and instead, it's Gunn who comes away with it. Sends it down the far side to Coughlin with 7:40 remaining. Now they go far side. Work the ball all the way around. We are back to business on Monday with a flag down here.
And the goal is good.
Yep, first they'll count the goal. So that's going to make it 9-2.
Trojans goal scored by number 3, Sean Dillmeyer.
And Sean Dillmeyer gets the goal. So Dillmeyer the goal. And off goes, I believe, is that 8 over in the box?
It does look like it to me, Rob.
You know why, AJ?
Because it is.
Chris Costello, the junior midfielder, goes off. I started to say before the goal so rudely interrupted me to make it a 9-2 game with 7:10 to go. I'm kidding when I say that. But Monday, we're back in business with baseball at Danbury High School. The Danbury Hatters host the Darien Blue Wave. First time we will see the Wave, who have played very well on the baseball season. That's 4 o'clock on Monday. But a timeout on the field with 7:11 to go. 9-2, Ridgefield leading Garden City, and we're back to Ridgefield right after this. You're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network.
Alberto Londano Professional Painting, Wallpapering, and Carpentry has been serving Fairfield County for over 20 years. Based in Norwalk, Alberto takes pride in his work by offering you only the best quality service and products. Call Alberto today to get a free estimate and be one step closer to a new and exciting home makeover. 203-866-9635.
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network Wishes in Flight campaign. Over 70% of wishes granted involve travel, and your unused airline miles can help make kids' dreams become a reality. Plus, once you donate your miles to Make-A-Wish, they will never expire. Donate your unused miles and help the HAN Network share the power of a wish.
Had a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or go to coastalorthoexpress.com. That's coastalorthoexpress.com. Like them on Facebook.
Rob and AJ back here in Ridgefield. 7:11 to go. Fourth quarter, which reminds me of coffee, but still.
I was going to say, I wish there were a 7-Eleven around here that I could stop at after. I feel like a slushie.
I'm not giving away the free advertising. I have my convenience store of choice, and it's not in the Northeast. To the near side. Bouncer, that goes wide. Place I like is more mid-Atlantic, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, kind of down that way. If you know what I'm talking about, then you're a smart person. Back behind the cage. Good ball movement to bring it around near side. 6:46 remaining. 9-2 game. But an icy Coke, I have to agree. So good.
I prefer cherry myself.
Which is funny considering your brand of soda that you drink so much.
That's true. But I am an even bigger fan of all things cherry.
You have told me that. 6:25 to go. And a 9-2 game. Thrown on net and right into the net of Clem.
That almost looked like a pass to Clem.
It almost did. As of right now, the Fairfield County teams have outscored the Nassau County teams 2-1, 20-10. That's how dominant this performance has been today for these FCAC teams. They lead 9-2 right now, does Ridgefield, with 6:05 remaining and another timeout taken. We'll stay here. Boys lacrosse on Tuesday. We're back at Staples High School in Westport as Greenwich plays Staples at 5:30 Tuesday. Wednesday, guess where we are? Right back here in Ridgefield. 4 o'clock boys volleyball, Darien and Ridgefield in the gym. It'll be weird to go inside. Then on Thursday, it's boys lacrosse again, and we'll see Greenwich again. Canaan and Greenwich at Cardinal Stadium Thursday at 4.
I'll personally be interested to see how Greenwich bounces back from their loss here against the Tigers. Overall, not a bad game played by the Cardinals, but just kind of flat. Like to see if they can summon back some energy.
Yeah.
Or is this the Greenwich team we're going to see this year?
It's an interesting question and one that I look forward to seeing possibly resolved. Just to kind of finish the thought, the following Monday we'll see our first softball game on the schedule as Danbury and Stamford will meet at Stamford High School, and that is a 4 o'clock start. So a little bit of a look as to everything going on around the HAN network, and you can keep an eye on the schedule at han.network. The May schedule will be getting finalized. In fact, I was going through it, and I know, AJ, you were with me in that conversation as we were kind of figuring out the games that we think we should cover heading into the month of May, and so many playoff and championship games as well. Unfortunately, so many of them conflict with one another, but we will cover it all as best as we can.
We'll sort it all out eventually. It's what we do.
And then after a Friday night game at Harbor Yard at the end of May, you will find me curled up and asleep for the month of June. Though that's not entirely true. Out of the timeout, Skylar Blair takes it 2 yards deep in the football end zone. Tangled up there with Phil Puccio, the junior defender. He goes down, climbs back up, flag down. Brings it near side outside the hash marks. Goes behind the cage. We're down to 5.5 to play. It's a 7-goal game at 9-2. They'll just play keep away as long as they can. Bring it over near side. Here's the feed and right into the net of Sam Lucchese. That'll stop us with 5:15 to go. Any chance that picture is still available that we put up in the first broadcast?
Yes, Rob, I believe it is.
And fittingly so.
And here it is.
Since we are talking about Ridgefield, though he's off mic right now, look at that handsome guy in the top row. Ohio University, 1988.
That is the executive producer of the HAN Network, Mr. Marty Hersom.
And Martin Carbone is in the other circle wearing number 22, who serves now as one of the public address announcers here at Tiger Hollow, was in fact doing the girls lacrosse game the other day, and we've heard him do some football as well. So in the small world category, our own Marty Hersom came up with a picture of that very picture earlier today. So Puccio over in the penalty area with 4:45 to go and a 9-2 game. Here's Chase Levesque. Spins around to Gatto, and the bouncer goes wide. 4.5 remaining, and what's going to turn out to be, if it stays as is, a very dominant FCAC day. But you like seeing the level of competition. You like seeing these different matchups, and really think it behooves these teams to do even more things like this. We don't see it in football, and it would be fun. We don't see it really as much in a lot of the sports, but you can see it in lacrosse. You see it a lot in hockey. You know, you get a few out-of-conference games in baseball. It's fun to see these different matchups.
You play a team from a different conference, you're going to get a different style of play, maybe some kind of a funky offense or a funky defense you don't see very much. Makes it a little more entertaining, I'd imagine, for the players and for the broadcasters.
I mentioned that Steve Lancaster Memorial downstairs here at Tiger Hollow, and among the pictures are things like Mr. Lancaster playing against teams such as Yorktown, Ridgefield Yorktown. You just will not see that in this day and age. Of course, we all have nightmare memories of broadcasting from Yorktown High School, but that's a whole different conversation for another time. That was our first broadcast of the fall season, and connectivity was... I'm being polite when I say it was an issue.
I disagree. I have very fond memories of my night on top of the Yorktown press box.
I enjoyed it because it's arguably the shortest drive I've ever had from a game to go home, save for the one time I did do a game in my hometown. 3 minutes to play, 9-2, and the Tigers Skylar Blair is just holding this ball for all it's worth. Tim Schmelzinger is trying to take it away from him.
I do have to say, Rob, a little while ago, Schmelzinger actually went with the behind-the-back stick check.
Out it goes, put on net, and they score again. Now, crowd applauding, and I'm holding off for a minute. Is the goal official? I believe it is. But the officials are going to talk that over. Peter Dirth right now with an assist to Blair. Scoreboard does say 10-2. Guys in the striped shirts get the final say. As Fowler walks back out with the flag. We have 2:39 to go. So it's a 10-2 game for Dirth, his second of the day.
Peter Dirth picking up right where he left off from the game against Greenwich on Tuesday night. I believe is that his 7th goal of the week, Rob?
Yes. That's exactly where I was going to go with that. I don't have the count of what he did against Stamford in the season opener. Now, it was a dead ball after the goal, so no face-off. That's why there was no face-off. So they're right back at the offense. Throw it over the head of Fowler in the end zone. That'll turn it around and give it back to Garden City with 2:21 to go. And to that end, he did not play in the opener, in fact. So 7 goals on the year. Now this is an errant pass that gets away from Lucchese. 2:08 remaining, a 10-2 game.
And probably very good that it did, because Lucchese had run pretty much over onto Tiger Hollow 2. Had a Ridgefield player come up with that, it would have been 11-2.
fact, had he gone through those trees, he'd head out toward Ridgebury Road, which carries you up into Danbury. That's the nice little sneaky way to come to Tiger Hollow off Interstate 84. A little windy, but still. Drew Fowler in the end zone. Phil Puccio on him. 100 seconds remaining on this Saturday afternoon, and another flag down. I believe a slash was called that time.
That looks to be correct, Rob, as Puccio heads off. Or heads toward the sideline, I should say.
He is trotting away.
Despite all of my cameras, I can't always see everything.
Well, my thanks to you and Eric for holding down the fort today. And to Steve Buno and Mike Suppy, Tim Murphy, Rocco Veluzzo, all on camera today. As we're down to the final 80 seconds of this Saturday afternoon. Despite the results, which are not going to be the prettiest of numbers, 11-8 in the first one and now 10-2 here in this one, just speaking personally, and I can't speak for everyone, I enjoyed seeing different schools and getting a look at some different conferences and places we don't normally get to talk about. So in that regard, I think it was a winner of a Saturday. And the raising of $1,500, over $1,500 for Sticks for Soldiers here today.
Always love to hear that.
That's great as well. And the Tigers seem content, certainly, to wind this clock right down, and why not? And I can't see where Garden City wants to make any more noise as well. This a resounding win for Ridgefield, as they will improve to 3-0 on the year. Garden City's going to drop to 3-5. As we're down to the final 15 and everybody just kind of standing around. Down to 10. Crowd begins to applaud. Players begin to walk toward the sideline, and this one is in the books. A terrific job by the Ridgefield Tigers, who continue to build their confidence, improving to 3-0 on the year. Garden City, nothing to hang their heads about, but for sure, the Tigers dominant in a 10-2 victory. We'll take a break and come back and put a ribbon on this Saturday right after this. Ridgefield and Darien both win the Battle of the Sound. We're back to say goodbye after this. You're watching the FCAC on the HAN Network.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or go to coastalorthoexpress.com. That's coastalorthoexpress.com. Like them on Facebook.
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network Wishes in Flight campaign. Together we can share the power of a wish.
Back at Tiger Hollow, Rob Adams, AJ Simonowski, and the rest of the crew here, wrapping up game number 2, and a 10-2 win for the Ridgefield Tigers. Earlier today, the Darien Blue Wave knocked off Manhasset High School 11-8. Not the drama, not the close games we thought we'd see today, Mr. S.
That is really the letter of the day. I had thought, especially with Darien and Manhasset playing, I had thought we would have seen a barn burner, 21-18, something high scoring and dramatic. Instead, as I said earlier, we got more of a defensive game. This one, Garden City just not able to hang with Ridgefield in the way that we thought they would.
Yeah, just, a minute 3 in, Peter Dirth scored and made it 1-0, and I didn't think at that time that it was turn off your sets right there, but it kind of went that way. 4-0 after 1, and then 7-1 at the break, and the Tigers just kept the foot on the gas pedal all day.
And it felt like at times when you would expect that Garden City would, try to kick it into a high gear and get something going, they just didn't. Now, whether, who knows? That could have been a coaching style. That could just be the style that they play. Us not being familiar with them can't really speak to that. But the opportunity was there to say, all right, let's get moving, and it just never happened for the Trojans.
Both teams basically had a 90-minute trip, and by both teams I mean Manhasset and Garden City. Generally speaking, in a perfect world, a 90-minute trip. Now, of course, with traffic and not being able to use parkways and so on, that, of course, will be a longer trip, and hopefully for them, some kind of a dinner will fall into the middle of all that as well. But nice to see these teams come out here today, AJ, and I'll tell you what, I mean, I know I'm weird. You guys tell me I'm crazy all the time, but if it's over on Long Island next year, I'm happy to take the ride.
I think that would be a fun day.
I do too. Be an early start, but I have a feeling it would be a very fun day.
Josh Fisher off to my right is telling us he's taking that day off preemptively.
He will tweet from home that day. I can't say I blame anybody, but I think it would be kind of fun to take that trip. But in any event, all that said and done, fun day to see both these teams. But again, dominant performances by the FCAC, and that's the bottom line.
I can't add anything to that, Rob. Back to you.
I left it wide open for you to do so. With all that said, AJ, I think we can put a wrap on it. What do you say?
I say that's good.
All right, the magic words, that'll do it from Ridgefield High School with the final score in game number 2. The Ridgefield Tigers 10 and the Garden City Trojans 2. Earlier today, the Darien Blue Wave knocked off the Manhasset Indians by a score of 11-8. We ask you to join us for Coffee Break. You may see highlights of all of this on Monday at 11 o'clock. In fact, it's Monday through Friday from 11 to at least 11:30. Kate Chaplinsky, Donald Eng, and myself have everything you need to know. Our thanks to Carl Charles, Travis Tiger, and everybody here at Ridgefield's Tiger Hollow Stadium. And our thanks to everybody for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. Rocco Veluzzo, Mike Suppy, Tim Murphy, Steve Buno, Eric Gendron, Josh Fisher, Marty Hersom, AJ Simonowski. For all of them, I'm Rob Adams. Thanks for joining us for a long and fun day of lacrosse. Darien and Ridgefield get the wins. Enjoy your Saturday afternoon. You've been watching the FCAC on the HAN Network. Good night from Ridgefield.